Okay, for anybody who wants to use the rubric feature in Google Classroom, I'm going to make this little video to show you how to do that. And I'm going to show my coworker also how to do that on Google Classroom. Okay, so let me share my screen. Okay, here we go. Okay, so the first thing is obviously to pick the class that you want to make the rubric in. And in either a task that you've already created or a new task, I'm gonna do this one. I'm gonna edit this. So when you're creating a new task or whether you're editing a new one, you can choose ungraded for points, and then you're going to choose the button that has a rubric. So I'm going to create a new one for this particular task. So when I do my tasks, whether they're formative or summative in my classes, I always associate them with the criterion. So I'm going to open up my Unit 1 planner really fast for art.
Oh, like A or B or C or whatever?
Exactly. Yeah. So let me pull up my Unit 1 thing here. So for this particular task, I want them to focus on criteria B, developing their skills. So when I go in here, I'm going to call it developing skills. And then in my little descriptor, I like to copy whatever strand I am doing, or if I'm doing 2 strands. So maybe I'm doing 2 strands. I'm going to copy that and put that into the criterion description. They don't need to know the number of the strand. So they will know that for this criteria, they have to demonstrate the acquisition and development of the skill and the application of the skill. Now, the second level, you can actually associate points with the criterion descriptor. So this is actually a little bit better than like the normal numeric points grading that I took away out there. So for this one, since it's a formative, actually I'll do it both ways. If it's a formative, I might not have any points at all. I might just have the descriptors. For now, I'm just going to leave it. So the first level.
You don't always have to assign a 0 to 7 grade for formatives?
Nope, you don't. So I'm going to just call it the level, which would be novice. And I'm just going to copy my little descriptor right from my MYP guide or my task specific clarification. And then I'm going to add 2, 3 more. So then if you decide you want to associate points, sometimes for formatives, I'll just do it on a 1 to 4 scale. Or if it's a summative, then I would double that. So a novice would be 1 or 2, a practitioner, or excuse me, a learner would be 3 or 4.
Yeah.
Practitioner would be 5 to 6. And then when you actually grade the kids, you can adjust these. So then I would have learner, and then practitioner, and then expert. And I'm just going to copy the little descriptors right in to.
So I could almost get those from Manage Back for my.
You could, or you should also have. And if you don't have access to this, I can get you access to this. But you should have an MYP subject guide for PE.
Yeah, I have that binder.
So you can get this digital.
Oh.
So you don't have to just have it in paper. There's digital stuff too. So that way you can literally just copy and paste it. Okay, so now all my stuff is in. Now let's say I wanted to grade them on 2 criterion. I would just add a whole other level here. So let's say I also wanted to assess them on knowledge and understanding. Then I would do the same thing that I did before. I don't actually want to do this, so I'm going to take this away. Delete. So then that's it. Then you click save and it's there. So now when I go to grade this, I'm going to save this. It's thinking. So now let's say they turned it in. Now my kids don't actually have anything necessarily submitted here because we did it in class.
Uh-huh.
But if they did submit something, I'll be able to open it up and the rubric will be right over here. So we're going to take Sophia's, for example. She did this activity that we did with
Wow.
color. And obviously, based upon whatever it was that you wanted them to do, you will click the drop down and you could say, okay, she did, let's say she did an expert level, but it wasn't quite an 8. I want it to be a 7 instead of an 8. I can adjust that here. And so then when Sophia sees this, I'm not actually going to save this right now. When Sophia sees this, I'm going to show you what it looks like from the student perspective.
Yeah, that's great. I'm always curious what they see on their end because
it's helpful that I have a student in 6th grade now, because then I
Rachel.
can totally steal her thing and look at it.
Yeah.
So we did this with this facial expression activity. So if they go back to their Google Classroom, go to the task and then view the assignment, it will show their little rubric right here based upon what they got. So whichever one is highlighted, that's the level. And I didn't give them points on this one. It was just novice learner, practitioner, expert.
Okay.
So then they can get that feedback here. Now, you still have to put these grades in Manage Back because Manage Back's the official one, but it is helpful for kids that are like really struggling or just knowing how to do that.
Because Google Classroom's a little more user friendly, I think. Maybe.
Yeah, I just didn't know how the whole like rubric thing was going to go. So I haven't finished grading these for my speech students yet. Let me go out of this. This is going to be kind of
I've been like, I just told them the assignment instructions are on Google Classroom under the classwork instructions. And then the rubric is on Manage Back because it wouldn't let me upload on Google Classroom.
Yes.
So then I had to write that in the description on Google Classroom. And
so here's another thing that you might consider doing. So I give my students this task-specific rubric at the beginning of each unit. And I can send you a template that looks like this. So whatever the statement of inquiry is, whatever tasks you're going to have them do, and then I list the formatives and summatives here on the left-hand column, and that way they'll know exactly, oh, this formative and this summative are going to be graded on criteria A, and this formative and this summative. And like, you can have the same thing graded, like this abstract art piece is getting graded on criteria B and A.
Yeah.
And then they have it right there. So I share that document and I also post it in my Google Classroom. So when I set up my classwork tab, I have unit 1. They have their, where did I put it? I think it's here under unit overview. Yeah, because I do a slide with that. So that is how you set up rubrics in Google Classroom. So the first time you do it, I want to show you one other thing. The first time you do it, you have to make it. Yeah, so the second time, if you want to reuse it.
I love that feature, even like reusing material and then for all my 6th grade classes.
So if I go to the task, and I feel like this is probably the one feature that Google Classroom gets right. So let's say I didn't actually set up the task like that in advance. I already have this task set up. And so then I went back and I made the rubric for that one class period. Now I have to do it for the other one. So I just click on add a rubric, and instead of creating, I reuse it. And then I can choose the class that I made it. I don't remember which one it was. Nope, not that one. B1 maybe? Yeah, color task. And then I can just reuse it there. And that way it's already there.
Yeah.
Totally fine.
That's nice.
And then delete it.
Super nice. You don't have to reinvent the wheel every time.
Yes. So hopefully that is helpful.